You're at the Coaching Inn, 3D Coaching's virtual pub, where we enjoy conversations with people who are engaged in the world of coaching.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Coaching Inn, which is celebrating the launch of Sandra Whiles' new book, The Coaching Tools Compendium. Is that the right title?
It is. It took a long time. Long time to get that agreed.
So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Sandra. Just a reminder, if you don't subscribe or follow the podcast, if you do that, you'll get it every week. What I love about having Sandra here today to celebrate the launch of her book is that you know well that I don't like tools. And Sandra's book's all about tools. And isn't it great to interview people when you don't quite agree necessarily? Because we agree on lots of things. We don't agree on tools. And it is absolutely delightful to hear all about them. Sandra, welcome.
Thanks, Claire. And I'm smiling because when I was thinking about who would I really like to review my book, it was like, am I brave enough to send it to Claire Pedrick? And it was like, I must have had a couple of glasses of wine back. Yeah, I'm going to send it to Claire because I really, really value your take on the world. And you've inspired and I suppose really supported my journey as a coach over the last few years. So thank you. And I'm a bit excited to be here. So lovely.
Well, I mean, what a day to have got to this point.
Yeah.
And to have you here matching your cover.
Yes, it's like, yeah, colour's quite important for me.
So I know, you can tell that from the cover. So Sandra, tell us a bit about your journey into coaching and then we'll find out all about the book.
Okay, my journey. I'm suffering with sniffles at the minute, so bear with me if I start sneezing or coughing. Journey into coaching. So I used to have a grown-up proper job. I worked in the public sector for 30 odd years. Final 12 years of that, I was a chief exec of a council in Leicestershire, and the best job in the world. I absolutely loved it because it was a council where it was ripe for change and culture change and stuff like that. And I realised over those 12 years that actually, whilst I love making things better for folk, like I don't know, new houses and a great refuse collection, so what I really, really loved was actually unleashing the energy of the people that actually were in the organisation. And I did that for 12 years and I made loads of mistakes, but increasingly I was like conscious that I was spending my time in that mentoring space, coaching space. I'd never worked with a coach, actually. I'd done a bit of coachy trainee stuff and I'd done an NLP practitioner program to help me deal with some challenges in the organisation and the partnerships. And I'd had team coaches in to work my team. But I got to that stage that there wasn't any really new challenges and I'd got an absolutely amazing leadership team around me. And I've always needed challenges. I get a bit bored and I get a bit like naughty if I don't have something big. And the time was right. And I'd had at the back of my mind, one day set up a business and move into that coaching world. A couple of people that had brought in to do some work with the council to help us around some of the people strategy stuff, said to me, stop being a chief exec, just go off and get your postgrad training in coaching, because that's what you do. Just go and do it. They don't need you here anymore. So I phoned Barefoot, because I live in the Midlands in Leicestershire, and people had said Barefoot coaching is not for fun. So I phoned them one day just to have a chat about what was involved. And this amazing woman answered the phone, Kim Morgan, who was packing up boxes as they were moving from one place to their new place, to their new offices and training room in Melbourne. And that was it. And Kim, like, probably the first, well, I'd say, proper coach that I'd spoken to. So I spent about 12 months, I popped into a couple of Barefoot things, and I took the plunge and told my leader of the council that I was going to resign and leave in the elections in May 2016. And going, but you can't. So, well, actually I can and stuff. So I had quite a long transition, about 6 months, handing over and leaving the organisation in a place of confidence to move forward. And then went set up a business, which I hadn't got a clue how to run a business. That was 9 years ago. So early June 2016. Did my training at Barefoot, March to May 2016, and have learned lots, made lots of mistakes, but absolutely love what I do. And I think I've always wanted to make a difference in some strange way, whether it's actually clean streets or new houses or helping people find their own way to succeed. And I think I couldn't have done much more of that as a chief exec in that role. I think the impact of what I now do is hopefully helping other people make a difference.
Great.
So,
what a lovely thing to hear your journey. Also, I'm super distracted by your Lego flowers.
Yes.
Because they're the same as my Lego flowers.
They're beautiful. Oh yes, yes. It was, and my son bought me those, and then they bought me the latest one, which are wildflowers, which are in the kitchen. So if you haven't got the wildflowers, they are really beautiful.
I haven't. I have got the orchid.
I got the orchid. I haven't got the succulents either. Right, Lego. Part of my journey as a coach was to invest in becoming a Lego serious play facilitator, which I chose to do in Denmark as opposed to
Nice.
because actually, why would you not go to the home of Lego?
Lego. Can I just say, there are an awful lot of coaches who have Lego flowers. But anyway, moving back to the book. So if you're a coach who has Lego flowers, do send us a picture. You better send it to me, Claire at 3dcoaching.com, because if you send it to info at 3dcoaching.com, I'll get told off by our team for flooding their inbox with strange pictures. So where did the inspiration for the book come from, Sandra?
Oh dear, it's been there niggling, that's not the right word, bubbling for probably 4 years. I started writing, it was at the start, a monthly Coaching Tools newsletter, probably about 5 years ago now, for a range of reasons. If I do something, if I read something, or if I like go on some training, for me, I like to make it practical. And sometimes that would then lead to something about, okay, like how do we put this, I don't know, grounding practice into practice? How can I actually help people and other coaches get some of this stuff about CBT or whatever? So I started watching this Coaching Tools newsletter, partly because I wanted to share stuff. So one of my real energizers in life is collaborating in people. Part of it, I like challenges. I didn't know how to use MailChimp. I didn't know how to Zoom. I didn't know how to write things. And so I started that, and I was writing them once a month on random stuff. And people keep saying, oh, you should put these things in a book. You should put these things in a book. And I'm going like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I've written a book. And the Coaching Tools newsletter has moved on quite a long way over those 5 years. There's an amazing group of people that respond back to the newsletter, and we have a group coaching once every 2 months, drop in for coaches. So it's a real great community. People get saying, like this stuff, put it in a book. And I didn't know how to write a book, didn't know how to run a business. But I was sitting with, so my own journey as a coach has been quite interesting. I think like many coaches, I rocked out in Barefoot thinking, I've got to do a really good job and I've got to know what I'm going to do. And I would coach face to face in that world that we weren't living on it. And so I'd turn up and I'd have my coaching cards and I'd have this and I'd think about that and I'd have a model and I'd have an exercise. And actually, sometimes I'd use them, often I wouldn't, but it was like, got to be really organized and stuff like that. So the book, writing a book over, I suppose, my own journey, it's been like, I've done quite a lot of deep thinking about me, and I've worked with some amazing coaches coaching me and some amazing supervisors. And I've now got to a place where actually I think models and tools have a real use, but only if we understand ourselves as coaches, and they're held gently, and we trust that our instinct will tell us if it's helpful to suggest something to a client. So I got this, like, how can I write a book about tools when I think that we coach from us, from like our human instincts and our whatever. And so It's been a real journey. My own supervisor, Kate Hammer, has been really helpful in that and challenged me and poking me and suggested, this is probably going back 2 years ago, might even longer, that I worked with Indie Neogi using story forming, which is a set of cards to get underneath a business idea or an idea and really get underneath that. And what's this for? What's it about? So did that work with Indie, which was helpful. And it emerged from that this is a book about journeys, journey from training to becoming a coach to then carrying on, stretching self as coach. But I was still sitting with this like tension, coaches, tools, instinct. And coach that I trained with, Annie Lee, we were running a retreat with some of the coaches from a coaches gathering that we support together, and she said, just get on and do it. What is holding you back? And at that point I discovered some of David Clutterbuck's work around coach maturity. I'd done a lot of work on myself in terms of like being able to let go with being totally controlled and organized. And Annie just said, just do it, get on with it, do it. And so I committed to Annie that I would go home and book 2 weeks retreat residential somewhere where I could go away and start writing, which I did. And so, that's what. And I soon realised that I had to have a team of people around me because I don't know how to write a book. So I went on Pete Mosley's How to Write a Book course. I spoke to somebody who's done one called the person called G. Sabini Roberts, who has helped me with visual stuff about actually do they know how to lay out books, and they introduced me to a book editor, and started writing, and was really clear. And I think the work with Indie had made it clear to me that it was a book about journeys, and that journey is from how we are fledgling coaches, little birds in a nest, and how we can really dig into our own philosophy and our values and our preferences and our own thinking and what that means to then establish our own coaching philosophy. And that can include the use of tools. We might use a pen, we might stand up and pretend to be a tree, or we might actually get out a model. And that helped me work out what the book would look like. It's changed a bit over the journey. Actually, it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's probably been one of the most joyful but stretching things I've ever done. Harder than getting planning permission for a new town. It's like, but really, really like amazing.
What a comparison. Harder than gaining planning permission for a new town. Well,
but lots of comparisons because in that journey, I did lots of things as a chief exec that I had no idea how to do, and they were really hard. But in all of those journeys, I've had people around me and surrounded myself and been part of a team, and I might have had to take different roles in those teams. And I've been stepped into things I didn't know how to do it, and sometimes it's gone desperately wrong, and actually it's been sorted.
Yeah. No, that really makes sense, because the book that our next book, it's taken a year to get the shape of it. And now we're going to go for planning permission.
So I'm excited. So what's the next book, Claire?
So it's something about neurodiversity.
Wow. Yeah.
But not being an expert. And so that's really been quite tricky. How do you find your voice? So I'm writing it with Nathan Whitbread and Kim Whitten. You should listen to our team meetings because we're all neurodivergent. It's hysterical.
Yeah. Your book, Simplifying Coaching, I mean, it's the most written on book. And it's like it goes on holiday with me quite often. But I think your book was a real catalyst for me in my own journey. So thank you.
I've just read it again.
Yeah.
So I'd love to talk to you in 4 years or 5 years' time when you read yours again, because I'm reading it again going, and people go, oh, I really like reading your books. It's so easy to read. And I'm reading the first chapter and going, that's really complicated writing.
But every page has got nuggets in it, and it's well written and
thank you.
Your book.
Mrs. Oldfield, my English teacher, did you hear that? He told me I couldn't do it
Yeah.
when I was 12 years old. But anyway, so what's exciting you about this book being born?
What's exciting me? The fact that it has somehow managed to bring together some sensory experiences. So I know some people will hate it because it is bright, it is colourful, it has a playlist, it's got a QR code to get to the music that I've written the book with. It's written in a hopefully accessible style. I had some great help along the way from somebody that advised me on how I write, because I write as I talk and think, and so people might not be able to follow the flow. So excited that it's come together as something that is colourful, and I've been told is really useful. That's hard to read. I find it really hard to ask and read the reviews. I'm excited that it gets into people's hands. I would really like people to buy 2 copies, not so I get rid of them, but one so it's pretty on their bookshelves and beautiful, and another that they write in and they scroll in and whatever. And I think for me, in the writing bit was one stage, but the putting together as a product, it sounds really boring, doesn't it? As a gift was really important. So it has to have. I get annoyed by books that don't lie flattish, so it's stitched so that it lies flat. Now it's 270 odd pages, so it won't lie as flat as it's spiral bound. Spiral bound wasn't the quality that I wanted, but stitch bound. So it took me ages to find a printer that could do that. Along the way, there's a printer around the corner, or a couple of miles away, and they specialize in animal husbandry books and books around, eggs and stuff like that. And I rocked up there one day, made an appointment, and he was just so helpful, this young man. He's like, took me through all the, and he says, and what you're talking about, stitch band, that's what you need. So we can't do this. We're not the printer for you, but so it's stitch band, it lies flat, it's colourful, it's got other people's stories in it. So it was really important. It wasn't this isn't all about Sandra. This is about a journey from baby coach to a coach that carries on growing, but I'm just one of many, and I wanted to I think it was Kate Hammers suggested, my supervisor, let's just ask a few other people to put their stories. There's a combination of tools, a journey to reflect on, that gives some, that's based on some of my learning and stuff. It's got some case studied on it. It's got playlist in it, and it's got accessible. So there's another QR code that allows people to download the tools in bigger font, because it's quite small in the book. Because for some people and for some clients, they want something to work on between sessions. You might want to share something on screen. So it's how can I make it as practical as possible, but also accessible. So the price bit has been really interesting. Do I do it? And some of the tech stuff about the making it so it's designed lie flat. The easy way of getting books out in the world is through some of the big online things, isn't it? And print on demand, and that wasn't going to give me the quality that I want. So the book will be available outside of the UK as a print on demand version, and it will be available as a hardback print on demand version and an ebook. But if people want the real one, it's actually, you get it from me on the website, or probably will work out how to get the real books into Amazon that lie flat.
I'm so interested that you say that, because I was at an event the other day, and some of the people had brought The Human Behind the Coach for me to sign. And I picked it up and I thought, this isn't my book. And I went to sign it with my signing pen. I hope you've got a signing pen.
New pen. It's pink, which is like, oh yeah, like pink isn't my color, but it's like being bold.
So I signed it with my signing pen, and the ink bled.
Yeah.
And I looked at the book and I thought, this is not my book. And it was a print on demand copy from Amazon.
Yeah.
And the spine was about 3/4 of the size of my spine, because The Human Behind the Coach is printed on really lovely paper. And it was just so very interesting
It is, and I think my book's been printed by Beamreach Printing up in Lymm in Cheshire, and and David there, great. We went and felt papers, and we felt
Me.
papers and the covers, and he said, well, we need the cover to be scratched, whatever, because the colours, you've got dark greens, so yeah. But I think there is the practicalities. I really hope that the book goes beyond the UK coaching world. I've already got 3 copies going out to America, which will be the proper ones, for a coach that I met in a swimming pool in Lake Garda last year, and another one's going out to New Zealand. But actually, publishing myself, there's lots of learning there, because we'll be stuffing envelopes, or my VA will be envelopes. So it will be print on demand available, and there's a print on demand hard copy that I did just as a test. The quality of that is a lot better, but the cost. So loads of learning, and stuff. But it's easy for people to buy from Amazon, isn't it? But
So we have readers in 128 countries.
oh my God, well, that's
Listeners, I mean, sorry, because I said readers because we're on books. We have listeners in 128 countries.
so and people will find my book, whatever. But the spine, the Stitchbound one, will be coming out from our place in shiny green envelopes.
So people who want to buy it from the UK,
yes,
or are willing to pay the postage,
yes.
How do they get it?
If they go onto my website, which is being updated so that it actually is suitable to buy from, they can convert it. So www.sandrawilescoaching.com, or drop me an email. But that's been another journey for me, really. They'll go out in nice shiny green envelopes, and there is the ability to buy a book bag, which will have some goodies in it, because I don't know what you're like, Coach, but Claire, but get a new coaching book, particularly a practical one. I want to know what pages I want to go back to. I want to have a notebook with it. So I'm going to wave a book back at you. It hasn't got the goodies in it at the minute, but we have awesome book bags, and in that you'll be able to put the book plus a notebook plus some bookmarks plus some post-its, because I think and a pen, because that is your toolkit, isn't it? And because part of the design bit was, can I have 5 or 6 what do they call them, bookmarks, the ribbon bookmarks, and he said, well, you could, but it's going to put another 20 quid on each book. So my designer G has helped me get some really great bookmarks printed off, so that we don't have to bend too many corners over.
Nice. So how much is it, Sandra?
It will be £28.50 plus postage and packing. The book bag will be probably £34. We're still finalising with it, plus postage and packing. And I've got some lovely people that are helping me with the distribution. So I don't know if there's ever a second book. I think there's loads of learning to go through.
Yeah. So in the next few weeks, what's your hope?
What's my hope? I hope we can move quite a few of the boxes out of my brother's garage where they're currently upstairs. I hope that people will pick this book up, and it's a nice time of year. I hope they'll buy it and pick it up, and that they will take it somewhere with some cup of coffee and just not dive straight into the tools. That they will actually really focus on that bit about, who am I as a coach? What am I as a coach? How do I use my resources as a human being to be able to build that relationship with my clients, so that in the moment, me and the client can actually work out what's the best way to do some thinking together. I know some coaches will pick it up and go, oh, that's an exciting tool. Oh, that's an exciting tool. But I really hope people will pick it up and start from let's settle into us as a coach. Several people have said that it will be a really useful resource for newer coaches, but I think it's there for all of us. But I think one of the things that as we go through coach training, and my time at Barefoot was life-changing, and lots of other work. I've done quite a lot of work with other team coaching studio and Optimus with Ruth Cudsey over the years. But I think in terms of we can come out and we think we're perfect and we've got to do it right. So I think that taking some time to settle. And as people, I've been doing this for 9 years now as a professional coach. Yeah, I go back to that from time to time, and just that, like, so some of it we do in supervision, but we can do it for ourselves, and never to stop growing and learning and doing whatever that is. For me, I think we touched on previous conversations. A couple of years ago, I thought, I've got to go and do my MCC now. I've got my hours in. I've got this. Actually, that's not right for me. That's not my journey. It is the right journey for some people. But for me, the journey was to get a book out there as a bit of a legacy. And that sounds, I don't want to sound that big-headed, but yeah, I am not sure how much longer I will be actively coaching. I don't think I'll ever stop coaching. I will never stop wanting to work with coaches and support communities of coaches. But actually, yeah, what's that physical thing that's I can see and hold and people can point to, and it is a book. Yeah. Legacy for being a chief exec was a bit of a nose turn and a beer hall. So it is the beer hall book. For a long time, Kate and I were laughing at, yeah, we couldn't actually call it the beer hall book because nobody would know what it was it? But it is the beer hall book, and the first chapter was written in Everard's Brewery's beer hall because that was a massive project that, again, a great team that I was part of as a chief exec.
Nice.
So, light a beer, read a book, or cup of tea.
So I love how you're saying that you want the beginning, you want people's first encounter with it to become a conversation between them and the book.
Yeah.
And their work before there's any consumption. Oh.
Yeah, that's conversation with themselves that we return to from time to time. And to look at there's 11 really lovely coaches that have shared their own journeys. So that's towards the back of that. And just to look at those and just think, actually, we're all different and we can all do it. We can all do it in our own way, and be true to ourselves. But actually, yeah, what is it that makes them the coach that they are?
Yeah.
And sometimes they might want a tool. There's 56 sorts of tools in there, but quite a few of them are targeted at coaches to help us settle and to do it. I'm smiling because, yeah, there's something about rituals. You know, I have a bit of a ritual before I go into a coaching conversation with somebody. And so how do we settle ourselves so that we are able to be there with our clients? Not think, what's the right question to ask? Because it will come if we just.
Of course it will. Of course it will. So you really want people to make it their own.
Yeah, make it their own, and to let me know how they play with the tools, how they adapt them. Yeah, what bubbles up for them. There are already 8 new things to go into a second book because it's like. But I'm really happy that I've gone through that. This isn't a rule book. This is a resource informer for you to make your own resources. So yeah, I'd love to hear what people do with it and play with it and stuff, lots of stuff.
The first thing I do when I write a book is keep one copy for myself where I write in ink all the things that I would change if I was ever to do it again.
And great tips. People have been so generous on this journey. There's been lots of help along the way. It feels like it's a village that's written.
Well, you did decide to do it yourself, so kudos.
Yeah, I think if I did the second book, I'm not sure how I'd do it, but there's still something for me that's important about the quality of it as a product.
Yeah. I can recommend a very good publisher who'll let you get the quality you want. Ooh. FYI.
Maybe I have to come chat to you. And I've got the design stuff there now. Yeah, that was the difficult. The front cover was interesting because I was playing with good old AI stuff, saying, just give me some ideas for cover. And it came out with something that I thought, and so Ginny was going, but we can't use the cover off chat GPT. So they got their paints out and they painted lots of little bits of paper and then put them into a tech machine, .techie, and have collage. So we have lots of beautiful collages of the images.
Nice.
Yeah, so all the design stuff's there now, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
So I hope
Yeah.
people enjoy it. I hope they like find something and let me know what doesn't work. Let me know how they'd add to it.
And you're having a party this evening.
Yeah, we're having a party, at Barefoot's today, and then we're having another party in London next week. Because Barefoot is my spiritual home as a coach, I suppose, but a load of the people in my life and my coaching world come from other places, and don't live in the Midlands and can easily get to these Midlands airport. So yeah.
Great. So SandraWilesCoaching.com.
Yeah.
Or online retailers if you want a slightly less beautiful version, right?
In the UK, once I've worked out and I haven't got around to I will get fulfillment by Amazon, so there will be proper. Outside of the UK, it's available print on demand, and I hope people enjoy it, and I hope people like playing with it.
Great. Well, thank you for coming to the Coaching In, Sandra, and enjoy the first few weeks of the baby being alive.
And thank you for your support, Claire, because it's meant a lot.
That's a real pleasure. So thank you all for listening. Thank you, Sandra, for coming, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, we'd love you to share the podcast with a friend or leave a comment on social media. And if you'd like to become a regular at the Coaching In, you can subscribe on Podbean and all major podcast channels. We look forward to welcoming you next time. You've been listening to The Coaching In, 3D Coaching's virtual pub. For more information, check out 3dcoaching.com.